Hey everyone, and welcome to our channel. I am Elin, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own sourdough bread with buckwheat. So this is a total gluten-free bread, and we're gonna bake it in our wood stove here in our little tiny home. It comes with a few steps. The first step is, of course, to make your sourdough if you don't have one already. And this is a buckwheat sourdough, so it's made out of just water and buckwheat. And it's a really simple technique of making it. So all you need to do is, for about a week, feed it every day with buckwheat and water. In another video I can show you how to make really nice buckwheat sourdough pancakes. So the first step is to take your sourdough and mix it with buckwheat flour and water. And this is about 3 deciliters of buckwheat flour. I never use measurements, so have patience with me. So take some of the sourdough. And actually, if you like, you can use all of your sourdough. And then when we have let this sit for a few hours, we can put a little bit back in our jar to save for another bake. So we put in some water. And also I want to say about the measurements, that is, measurements can never be like exact, because it depends on what flour you use and how warm your home is. And yeah, there's a lot of factors to that. So we just mix this around until it becomes smooth. So we're starting to get the consistency that we want. We want it to be like a thick batter. Some people like to think about like floating lava, if you know what consistency that is. But yeah, I think for me it was about 3 deciliters of flour, 4 deciliters of water, and a few teaspoons or a few tablespoons of sourdough starter. So this is the consistency that you want. So now we mix the water with the flour and the sourdough starter, and now we will let this just sit in room temperature. So now our sourdough has rested for about 10 hours, and it smells really good. It's a bit of a sour smell. And now it's really important that you remember to bring back some of this into your jar. This is a really nice way of making your sourdough come alive. So we'll save some of this for another bake. Yay! So now we're gonna have all of the other ingredients into the batter or the dough. We will begin by having some cut oats in there. And be aware that if you want the bread to be all gluten-free, you need to use gluten-free oats. But if you're just maybe avoiding gluten in your diet, then it's fine to use normal oats, because they contain very, very little gluten. And then I'm gonna have some more buckwheat, and this time it's the lighter version of it, so it's not full grain, but it's a really nice local and organic alternative here in Sweden from Värmland. also we're having some sunflower seeds in here. And this is a really nice ingredient. I really like having sunflower seeds in my bread. It gives a really nice texture. And sometimes when you bake with buckwheat, it can become a really compact bread, and then it's really nice to mix it with oats and sunflower seeds to get it a bit more fluffy. And we're gonna bring some spices in here. I will start off with a bit of salt.
Today I'm using some cumin, fennel, star anise and cloves.
So we're also bringing in some cinnamon today. We will add a bit more water. So now we had all the ingredients into our batter, and it has a kind of thick porridge-like consistency. And now we're gonna put it in our tray with some oil and some oats in the bottom so that it doesn't get stuck in there. So I'm using olive oil, but you can use whatever oil you have at home. It can be coconut or sunflower or whatever you have. And just spread it out on the edges as well. And then we will have some oats in the bottom. And now comes the batter. And spread it out evenly in your tray. And we will let this sit for a few hours. You can either choose to let it sit in a cold space, for example in the refrigerator or somewhere else where it's a bit chilly. And then it can sit overnight or for about 10 to 12 hours. Or if you keep it in room temperature in a really warm space, for instance near your fireplace or another heat source, or on top of your refrigerator is also a really good spot, then it can sit for about 2 to 3 hours. So now our bread has been sitting for about 4 hours, and it's starting to get nice and a bit frozen. And also we made a fire in our fire stove, and it's been burning for a while, so the oven is nice and hot and ready for our bread. But before I put it in, I will sprinkle some oats on top just to make it look more beautiful. And now it's ready to go into our fire stove oven. So the bread is in the oven, and we work with our wood stove, and it doesn't have a thermometer, so yeah, you will have to sort that out for yourself. But yeah, you will get to know your own oven and what temperature you want to bake your bread in. But I would say maybe 180 degrees. Maybe you could start with 200 and then lower it a bit to 180 and let it bake for about an hour to 1 hour and a half, depending on the shape of your bread and the size of it. Vi kollar brödgrejen. Kolla hur det ser ut.
Wow! Wow!
Ooh. Ska vi kolla om det är klart, älskling? So now we will let it rest and cool down, and we put one of these kitchen towels on top, and this makes the surface not become as hard. And this is a really nice basic recipe that I often use when I bake with the buckwheat sourdough, and it's really open for your creativity to flow and experiment with different seeds and nuts and spices and the amount of oats and buckwheat in relation to each other. I hope you will try the recipe, and if you do, leave a comment and let me know how it went. And if you want to see more about our life off-grid, subscribe.